Whoa! Whoa! Help! Is it safe to come out now? These comments, all from a single video I posted a few weeks ago. And honestly, I think it's time we talk about them. But this isn't just about me. It's about something bigger. It's about good versus evil in the world of trading cards. Because out of players, collectors, and investors, some groups are good and some groups are... Today we're putting each group on trial, and they'll all get their final verdict.
Not above the law. Today is that day.
Let's start with players, the group that these games were made for. Without players, none of this would exist. They're the heart and soul of the hobby, the ones who breathe life into the cards by actually using them the way they were intended. Yeah, it turns out people actually play with these. It's easy to get caught up in the collectability or the market value of a card.
How much is this worth again?
I sell that card for about $10,000.
But at the end of the day, these are just games. They're meant to be played, and the players are the ones who keep that spirit alive. They create the conversations, the rivalries, and the memories that keep the hobby fun and dynamic. Every local game store you see packed on a Friday night, that's because of the players. On top of that, players support the entire industry by buying boosters, singles, and tournament entries. Without players, there would be no need for new products, no innovations in card design, no organized play, and certainly no thriving secondary market. So the verdict here is pretty simple. Players are good. Next up, we have collectors. And if players are the lifeblood of the hobby, collectors are the caretakers. They're the ones who preserve the history of these games, carefully curating collections that might otherwise be lost to time. Collectors see the beauty in the artwork, the nostalgia in an old card frame, and the satisfaction of finally finishing a full set after years of hunting. They don't just keep cards, they protect them. They showcase the best parts of the hobby through framed displays, pristine binders, and beautifully organized shelves. Thanks to collectors, future generations will be able to appreciate cards from all eras of the game. Without them, so much of the hobby's rich history would have been bent, torn, or forgotten in shoeboxes. They also create things we can all aspire to. Whether you're a player who's just looking to complete your first set, or a casual fan who loves flipping through vintage binders, collectors make it possible for these pieces of the past to stay alive and inspire others. So again, the verdict is pretty clear. Collectors are good. Now the one everybody has been patiently waiting for. Investors. Time to bring out the pitchforks, right? But before we make up our minds, I want you to picture something with me. In an alternate reality, 10-year-old me buys my very first pack of Magic cards. I open the booster, see the shiny foil, get super excited, and just like that, I fall in love with the game. But being 10 years old, a few packs here and there is all I'm allowed. Fast forward 20 plus years, and I want to relive the same experience. I want to find a box of Mirrodin, the set I remember so vividly from my childhood. So I start looking. I check stores, online shops, auctions, but there's nothing. Nobody has it. No one thought to hold on to a box. It's completely gone. That is a world without investors. Because you know what investors do? They buy, store, and protect sealed boxes. Not because they're hoarding them out of spite, but because they're offering a service to future players and collectors. And of course, they don't provide that service for free. I would never expect to pay the same amount for a box that's been safeguarded for 2 decades as I would for a box that was printed yesterday. That's not how time or value work. Investors help keep a healthy market alive. They make it possible for people, years or even decades later, to chase their nostalgia, build their collections, or experience a piece of history that they missed the first time around. Sure, the prices can sometimes feel painful, but that's not because of some evil scheme. It's just supply and demand doing what supply and demand have always done. In fact, individual investors have almost no control over market prices. The same way the owner of just about any asset can't predict how much it will be worth in 10 years. This might not be what you came to hear, but investors aren't villains. They're an essential part of the ecosystem, just like players and collectors. So the verdict is, investors are good. So who is evil then? Well, the answer might surprise you, because it's not about one group being bad and the others being good. It's that any group can be evil, depending on how they act. Players, for example, are usually the heart and soul of the hobby, but they can also be the ones who gatekeep their communities, push away newcomers, or write some truly mean and toxic comments online. Just being a player doesn't automatically mean you're acting in good faith. Collectors? Same story. They're usually the caretakers of our favorite pieces of cardboard history, but when collectors get swept up in the hoarding for hoarding's sake, or trying to flip cards just to make a quick buck, they too can lose sight of what made the hobby fun in the first place. And investors? We already know they serve a vital role. But when an investor crosses the line and becomes a scalper, elbowing kids and grandmas out of the way at Costco to hoard product, yeah, that is... The truth is, if you're wondering who wrote a lot of those nasty comments at the beginning of the video, I don't think they came from investors. My guess is that most of them came from players and collectors. And I wouldn't exactly call that behavior good for the community either. Now don't get me wrong, I understand where a lot of those comments come from. I really do. It's frustrating when the singles you need to finish a deck are suddenly double what they were last month. It's frustrating when you walk into a store hoping to buy a box of Pokemon cards, only to find the shelves wiped clean, or to see a box priced way higher than MSRP. That's real, honest frustration. I get it because I've been there too. But here's the thing. It's easy to point the finger at stores and sellers and call them greedy. It's harder to understand the reality of what they're facing. One of my favorite explanations actually comes from Louis over at Kitchen Table TCG. He talks about how if he listed all of his boxes at MSRP, they would be gone immediately, sold out. And then, when the next wave of customers came in, the ones who didn't mind paying a little extra to get a box, he'd have nothing left to offer them.
I can't just go to the website and put up, Final Fantasy collector boxes at MSRP right now. Because otherwise we just completely sell out and we don't have any product. And all that product goes to the big whales who can buy 18 cases of something or 24 boxes of something. I want my boxes going to as many places, as many different people as possible. And so I have to, when you walk into my store locally or when you go to our website online, I have to have product up there. I can't just be sold out at MSRP and not have any product to sell you.
Those customers would just leave, disappointed, and probably never come back. It's not that sellers are trying to squeeze every dollar out of you. It's that they're trying to balance keeping product on the shelves while keeping their business alive. In a healthy market, players, collectors, and investors all contribute to the thriving ecosystem of trading card games, often without even realizing it. There's a delicate balance where each group does their own thing, working in harmony and ensuring the game's longevity and success. But in times like this, when demand skyrockets, as we've seen with Pokemon and more recently with Magic, the balance can tip. Supply struggles to keep up and tensions start to rise. Groups that were once barely aware of each other's existence now find themselves at odds, each group pointing fingers at the others. But it's important to recognize that no one group is truly to blame for all of this chaos. Except, of course, for scalpers. Those people actually do suck. Don't worry though, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. The market will stabilize and companies will adjust print runs to meet demand. Some of the hype will naturally fade and things will return to a more balanced state. Players, collectors, and investors will all go back to peacefully coexisting. And in the end, we can all blissfully ignore each other once again. Thanks for watching. And remember, no matter what side of the hobby you're on, we're all here because we love these games. Take care of each other and I'll catch you in the next one. Oh yeah, and definitely watch that video next.